All right, welcome everybody. It is 9 o'clock tonight on a Tuesday, and that means it's time for another episode of the Get Off My Lawn podcast. My name is John. You can call me Sandhills Shooter. You know what? Call me anything you want to call me. Just don't call me late to supper, and we will be fine.
I've already.
And let's put that up there so that everybody knows that they need to leave a comment. Click that like button and the share button and all that kind of stuff. Let's see here. If I do that and we go to the Brady Bunch looking view here, get everybody up here on the old podcast, and we'll cover up Lloyd's face. What happens if that helps a little bit? There we go. All right. Never mind me, guys. I'm still trying to figure this stuff out. It's only been 2 years. Don't worry about that a bit. All right. And let's see here. All right. So we've got some people joining us in our panel. We've got a few people out there already in the live chat going on the YouTube side. And now that we are live on the Facebook side, I know that there'll be people joining over there as well. So real quick, let's just go through and let everybody introduce themselves. And then we've got a few things we need to cover before we jump into the topic tonight. We'll just kind of go across my screen. I don't know if you guys all get to see it the way I get to see it, but immediately to my right, we've got Mr. Paul Lathrop. How are you doing, Paul?
Doing great, man.
Thanks for being here.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
You bet. You betcha. All right. Next up, we've got Pat and Lily. Well, we've got Pat. I haven't seen Lily yet.
Yeah, she's right here, and it's the naked blonde midget chat tonight. So, but no, doing good tonight. She's a little rambunctious tonight, but no, doing good. Thanks for having me on tonight, and yeah, let's get her going.
All righty. Next up, we've got Mr. Nighthawk Medic in the house. What's up, sir?
Hey, not much. Thanks for having me in, John.
You betcha. Thanks for being here
tonight.
Good
stuff coming down the pipe. Excited to talk about this tonight.
It should be kind of fun. As we're going to keep it light. We're going to be real, but we're going to keep it light and just have a lot of fun tonight, I hope. So, all right. Next up, we've got Rich White from This Week Unloaded and Unloaded Media.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Cool. Glad you're along for the ride. We've got a newcomer to the panel, although I think there's still a lot of folks out there that recognize this face, or at least will recognize the voice. So we've got Lloyd Bailey with us. Lloyd is the host of, tell me if I get this right, Armed Lutheran Radio, and also the Unload and Show Clear podcast.
Correct.
All right.
That is correct. John, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you betcha. And then last but not, and there may be some stragglers that still show up. I know that people are wrapping up over on Night Strike, so that we might get one or two more in here. But holding it down over in the capital city of Lincoln, Nebraska, we've got everybody's favorite dad, Defense Dad. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, man? Thanks for having me tonight.
If you're not everybody's favorite dad, you should at least be one person's favorite dad, right?
I am.
If we ask her, is she going to
presents last night?
Well, then you get style points for that. Cool. All right. Well, thank you all of you for joining us tonight. And let's see, who do we have out there? I can't see from where I am who's watching on the Facebook side, but I know Sandhills Sweetheart is keeping track of that. She is over here in the producer's chair. You guys know how this works. She does the typing, I do the talking. So if you're out there on Facebook or YouTube, drop a comment out there in the comment section of the live chat section, and she will tell you hi and welcome you to the podcast tonight. So over on the YouTube side, looks like we've got Kingpin out there. Of course, Sandhills Sweetheart is in the house. Pat Hirsch is there too. Paul Lathrop's out there in here. Rich White doing double duty. Defense Dad doing double duty. We've got Earth, but I'm just going to say Eartha because it's so much cooler to say Eartha. Ryan Pettit, what's up? I don't think I've seen you out here before. Mike White. I don't think I've seen Mike White either. A lot of new names coming in tonight. Drill Sergeant 623 says Earth sent me here. Who else is out there? Seven Wonders is in the house. 9mm Mike, first time. Welcome. And I know there'll be more coming through too. So again, just make sure that you are dropping those comments out there so that we can see you, and then we get to say hello and thanks for joining us at the end of the night. Over there on the Facebook side, it looks like we've got Donnie's out there, and Sandhills Sweetheart is out there, but she's showing up as me tonight. So it could be either one of us commenting on the Facebook side. You never know. Joe Smith's out there too. See you, Joe. All right. So a couple things that I want to cover before we get too deep into things. First and foremost, we want to thank Open Country Firearms from Osmond, Nebraska, for bringing the show to you tonight. I don't have a special ad yet. I got to get together with Garrett, and I'm just going to wing it tonight. So contact Garrett for all your firearms needs. He is a I'm going to get this wrong. Silencer Central, I believe it is, dealer. And if I'm wrong, then you know what? He should have just been here. But you can go to opencountryfirearms.com and check them out. You can get all the contact info, everything you need. opencountryfirearms.com, located in Osmond, Nebraska, Northeast Nebraska. Just celebrated their first anniversary here a month or two ago. So relatively new FFL, but I tell you what, if it's available, Garrett will find it and he will get it for you. He does a lot of trading, does a lot of used things too. So no matter what you're looking for, no matter what you've got, whether it's cash or trade stock, get in touch with him, see what he can do for you. So again, thanks Open Country Firearms for bringing the show to us tonight. A few other things here. If you want to get cool Sandhills shooter gear, last week Pat was rocking the hat, so was I. I've got one actually right here. This is not an iron-on, that is embroidered, and you can get the cool distressed looking denim trucker style, or you can get a few other options there as well. Even if you're into flat bill, then you can get such a thing. I don't know who likes those, but if that's your thing, it's on there because we want to try and encompass everybody. So go to blackswantactical.com, find the Sandhills shooter collection, get 10% off with the code SANDHILLS. And then let's see what else. We're up on Anchor. The last week's episode is now live as of last night. So you can catch all 55 episodes. This is number 56 tonight. So all 55 are up on anchor.com, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and hopefully Apple will get moving here pretty soon, and we'll get that going too, because that would really help us out. And speaking of podcasts, breaking news, this just came about today, courtesy of Lloyd and Paul and a few other people. We are now part of the Self-Defense Radio Network. You can see all kinds of cool podcasts. Not only this one, you can catch Armed Lutheran Radio and Unload and Show Clear. You can catch the Polite Society podcast over there. What else do we have? There's just a ton. Gun Freedom Radio is over there. Riding Shotgun with Charlie. There's more than I can even list. So go to sdrn.us. Check them all out, but make sure you check us out as well. We are the newest addition to the website. So thank you, Self-Defense Radio Network, for being cool enough to include us in the fold. I kind of feel like we just became somebody now today. So very, very happy to have that up there.
Some guy named Nick Treese is watching on Facebook.
What? Some guy on Facebook named Nick Treese is watching? We know him? What's up, Nick? We might know him. He and I went to the machine gun shoot down at Lexington here a few weeks ago. I still haven't got those videos edited. There's just a few short videos on there of shooting some cool stuff, but somebody brought a Ma Deuce, and I didn't shoot it because I couldn't afford to, but it's mounted on an old Willys Jeep. It's pretty cool. I did get to shoot an actual Thompson submachine gun, a few other things. I got to shoot full auto for the first time, and Nick was there. Wouldn't have been possible without him. He's been going for several years now, and hopefully we can make that kind of an annual trip. That was fun. But that is Sandhills Sweetheart's brother out there. So, all right. So it looks like we're playing musical chairs here with Travis and Defense Dad. I was going to let Travis say hello, but he's popping in and out. So maybe StreamYard isn't treating everybody nice tonight. So maybe we'll get him back in here. That'd be awesome. All right. And let's see here. See if I can keep up with all of the comments. If I need to throw anything up on the screen tonight, we will do just that. All right. There's Travie Claus back in the house. What's up, sir?
Oh man, it was lagging out. I couldn't get my microphone unmuted. It was sitting there, blanked out the whole time. So I'm doing good, man. Thanks for the invite. I appreciate it. How you guys doing?
We're all doing great. I'm glad that you have.
Excellent.
Are you off now for the holiday?
Yeah, we're done.
Awesome.
We had our last round of finals today, and we're done for a little while. So I'll be able to hang out with you guys in the podcast and get out to the range a little bit more, and have a good time.
Awesome. And we are absolutely planning on doing this again. One more before the year ends next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. So make sure everybody tunes in there. All right. So people are going to kind of apparently drop in and out, and that's cool. We will just keep everything going the best we can. Like I said before, I want to keep this fun and light, but you know what? It is serious. It's the 22nd of December. And you know what that means? Day after tomorrow, half of the men in the country are going to start Christmas shopping. And so it's getting about that time, fellas, husbands especially.
You gotta specify a time, because I usually start shopping about noon that day.
Yep.
Well, I think it's okay to start whenever that day. But I mean, surely by the 24th, you should have a pretty decent idea of the hints that she's been dropping all year of what she wants for Christmas, things like that. Now, I'm just going to throw this out here because I think it's my job to help husbands everywhere with this one. Fellas, I guarantee she will never, ever forget, or let you ever forget, the Christmas that you gave her a mop and a whisk broom for Christmas. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, if you want it to be memorable, and you'll never forget the year that you had to sleep on the couch for a full week either. So that's going to be, that's going to be awesome too.
You know, I've always subscribed to the theory of the commercial you see on TV. She went to Jarrett. Just change the first letter of that. She went to Barrett.
I've been dropping that hint for years now. And I keep getting told the same thing. As soon as we are independently rich or lottery winners or something like that, maybe she'll go to Barrett. But until then, it's probably not going to happen for a while. But that's okay, because I've priced 50 cal ammo, and I thought that my 270 hunting rounds were expensive until I priced a box of 10 rounds of 50, and I decided,
the price is 9mm. What are you complaining about?
Anymore? Yeah, I mean, what's the difference between 50 or 22 long rifle?
Might as well go Barrett. You get more enjoyment.
Well, why not Chai Tag if we're going to go all the way?
It's true. All right, so I want to talk about a couple different things. First of all, we're going to have a little fun. We'll just go around the horn, and you all get to be thinking about this a little bit. But we're just gonna say, if you could get Santa to bring anything, and we don't have to pick one thing necessarily, guys, but if you could send a list to Santa and guarantee that he's going to put it under your tree, what would you ask him for this year? So we're going to talk about that. And then also, if you do have seriously somebody you don't know what to get them, they're hard to buy for, or you're not sure what they like, or maybe it's somebody like me that, unless I have specifically sent you a link to the very item that I want, the configuration I want, then it might not be right, and it's something I probably want to pick out myself. So a lot of us are just picky that way, and that's cool too. So a great idea, and you guys can all be thinking about this too, a great idea, and you can do this last minute because you can get this digital a lot of the time, is a gift certificate or a gift card. And so we're just going to throw out several different companies, several different websites for that hard to buy for gun guy or hard to buy for gun gal. Let them pick out their own thing, but we're going to just share a few different companies, and I mean, as many as we can. There's no limit to how many people can share, that are good, reputable places, have good return policies, all that kind of stuff. And you should be able to get a gift certificate or a gift card from them. And that way, I don't know, some people think that gift cards are kind of impersonal. Some people feel the same way about cash, which I don't understand anybody that wants to give me that. I will take it. But I'm the same way with gift cards. I mean, give me gift cards. I don't care. Totally cool. I'll get what I want. And then I'll show you what you bought me with my gift card. I mean, I don't have a problem showing you what I got with it because it's usually something pretty cool. So let's just kind of start things off. And while we still have Defense Dad, we'll start with you. So the first question is, if you could ask Santa for anything and have it show up under your tree, what would you ask him for this Christmas?
Not to be all sentimental or anything, but I'd like to see my family for Christmas.
Yeah,
Oh, that's totally a great answer.
So I'm tired of all this crap. But
I understand that.
I switched to mobile. It seems like I'm getting better connection, by the way.
Okay, good deal. I don't know. Sometimes StreamYard works great, and sometimes it just doesn't. But I seem to have a better track record with StreamYard than I do with anything else. Plus, it lets me come out to Facebook and YouTube at the same time, thanks to the sponsors that we have now. So very, very cool. All right. So if there was anything else gun related, I guess it wouldn't have to be gun related. You're a car guy. I guess, just if there was actually something physical that could be under the tree that you could unwrap Christmas morning, what would you ask Santa for?
I want a benchtop planer for my woodworking.
That would be awesome too.
A nice 13-inch.
Very awesome. All right. Before I move on, you might have noticed a new towhead running around tonight, and she's been terrorizing the cat. So throughout the podcast tonight, for those of you who can't see what I'm holding up, this is our new baby. This is Miss Liberty. Her middle name is Belle with an E, but her name is Liberty Bell. And she is a 9.5-week-old now, golden retriever puppy. And for those of you that can see her, you can see she's just the cutest thing ever. But if I kind of tune out here, or you hear me yelling something while somebody else is talking tonight, I'll try to mute the mic as best I can. But if she gets into stuff, we've got a lot of wires and cords and stuff laying around. So I'd rather have her in here where we can watch her than leave her just unattended out in the living room to tear everything up. But sometimes having a new puppy in the house and trying to do things like a podcast, they don't always work hand in hand. So we'll do our best out here. All right. You say hi to everybody, Liberty. Yeah, she just wants to go find that cat. All right. The big white fluffy cat you see sometimes over my shoulder there is that's Edward, and he's in here with us tonight too. So he's usually pretty good about halfway through the podcast to get over there on top of that shelf and lay on his blanket and then clean his bits and pieces. Because, I mean, what else could he possibly do to embarrass us besides take a bath right there in the middle of a podcast? So you never know what you're going to see on the Get Off My Lawn podcast. We've got a menagerie in this house. All right. So now that we've taken 15 seconds for puppy identification, let's move over to the king of the Travi Claus himself. Travis, you could have anything you want from Santa Claus. What's going to be under your tree?
Oh, maybe a newspaper with the headlines that say the ATF's been abolished.
That would be amazing.
I don't know if that's asking for too much before the new year. Santa, you're really going to have to pull through in the clutch on that one. But if that's not going to work, I mean, I'd be happy with a Browning Satori or an H&K G36. Not too picky.
That would be awesome. That would be very, very cool. All right, let's move up to Nighthawk. What would you be asking for?
There's one weapon that continuously escapes me my entire life, and I will probably never have my hands on again, and that is an AA-12. Nice. I would love to have an AA-12 Santa Claus or the elimination of the ATF. I
think we would all second that one. So for the anybody out there who is not a gun person or new to the gun world, an AA-12 is
the Atchison automatic or Atchison assault shotgun. It is a fully automatic shotgun that was made specifically for law enforcement and police. And there was a very short window in the middle of my service career where they trialed it with the United States Armed Forces. Getting a hold of one is a booger.
I'm trying to remember, was it one of the Expendables movies, I think, that somebody had one of those that they were shooting?
Yes, they actually had one in the Expendables movie. There was a period of time where a civilian company was actually going to make a semi-automatic model of it, and I gave them $4,000 of my money, and then they announced that they were backing out of it. Sol Invictus Firearms announced that they accidentally sent a unregistered machine gun to the ATF, and they were no longer allowed to build it because for some reason a weapons manufacturer doesn't understand about sending unregistered machine guns to the ATF. And then they were refusing to give everybody their money back, and so that ended up in quite a conundrum.
Wow, that's great. All right, and I'm going to try and throw some of these other comments up onto the screen as we go through here. But let's see, where was it? We had Earth wanted a small thermonuclear device. Mike White says Chiappa Rhino and a Beretta 92X. Those would both be kind of fun. Hey, look, they're fighting back there like cats and dogs. Would you believe it? Let's see. We've got Mike's also saying thinking more of Mare's Leg and an AR-15. Defense Dad would also add 357 Magnum revolver in there. A specific model, Defense Dad, or just a 357? You'd like to have one?
Oh, I don't want to spend too much money. I look like a
Well, you're not
tourist.
spending it. This is Santa Claus, so you pick what you want.
Well, then we're going to go with a Smith & Wesson. If it's me, it's going to be a Taurus M65 or 66.
Nice.
Model 19-5.
That'd be great too. Artak and Daughter says repeal the NFA for Christmas. That would be a great present for all of us as well. Let's see. We've got Joe Smith. That's a great comment. We're not going to put that up on the screen.
I'm going to go over to the comments.
I don't know if you mean just a non-specific one or the one at the White House, but if you're not watching the comments, you're just going to have to wonder what we're talking about. MKJO just wants to watch the dog and the cat back there, which is totally cool.
I got $5 on the cat, by the way.
He doesn't have claws, so it's a pretty even fight right now. Until what's going to be fun is a year from now when she doesn't understand that he's littler than her and he can still kick her butt. But our cats don't have claws, so thankfully the dog's she's not able to grab one because they wouldn't be able to get away very well. She's chewing on cords. All right. Let's see. Do I have any other? Jeannie, where'd that go? It jumped on me. Jeannie Hirsch says just more ammo. Great thing as well. Yes, Earth says Edward has mastered the high ground. So yes, he's got the advantage. All right. Let's move right along. Let's go over to Rich. What would you want Santa to put under your tree this year?
The other half of my Black Friday order from Olight so that I have everybody else's gifts under the tree where they're supposed to be.
Okay.
Yeah,
sounds like there's a story that I haven't heard there.
Yeah, the other half of my Olight order got shipped to some random place in North Carolina where I don't live.
Nice. That's craziness.
Yeah, they're sending out another package that's supposed to have the rest of that order, but I have no idea when it's going to get here. It took from November, what was it, 27th was Black Friday, I believe, somewhere around there, to get here tomorrow with the first half of the order. So I have no idea when I'm going to get the second half of that order. It would just be nice to have it because, like I said, there are gifts in that order for other people.
Gotcha. All righty. So if you could have something for you along with that, what would that be?
Good Lord, I have no idea. I would have a whole list. I would be, I'd be like Lucy and Charlie Brown, just listing off this. Yeah,
just one of everything.
Yes, that like Charlie Brown said, that's it.
Gotcha. All right, cool. All right, let's go to Lloyd. What would Santa put under your tree if you could get anything?
Well, I was trying to think of something realistic, and I thought, hey, ammunition would be nice because I'd like to shoot IDPA next year again. But so I thought, well, instead I'll go with an HK MP5 instead. That's more realistic than a ammunition.
That would be cool. A real one, not an SP5, right?
Correct. Yes.
That'd be very, very cool. And again, for those of you who are new into the gun world, MP5 is one of the most iconic submachine guns, which is a submachine gun is just a smaller version of a machine gun. Typically, they shoot pistol calibers. And if you've seen Die Hard, which we're not even going to debate, that's a Christmas movie.
It is a Christmas movie.
If you've seen Die Hard, when he says, ho, 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 now I have a machine gun, that's what he picked up, I believe, was an MP5 off of that guy.
Yep.
So that kind of German engineering, I've never gotten to shoot an MP5. It's on my bucket list, an MP5 and an Uzi. Now that I've shot the Thompson, Uzi and MP5 are also on my bucket list to shoot sometime.
The Uzi is very hard to control, but the giggle factor, man, there's nothing I've ever shot that has ever put that kind of a grin on my face like an Uzi did.
That'd be cool.
You have to hang on to it though. That big old bolt moving back and forth is a lot of metal.
That's that. You know, I was surprised, as big a guy as I am, when I ripped off that that magazine on the Thompson. That because the guy was like, you got to lean into it. I'm like, okay, I get it, and I thought I did until it pushed me back, and I mean, I'm crowding up on 300 pounds, and it pushed me around. So, yeah, it was a surprise. Plus, the notion of firing from an open bolt is backwards to everything that I've ever shot before. So, to have that locked open and then realize, okay, so it's ready to go. Don't touch that trigger until you're ready. So I got a little bit of a crash course in not only full auto, but open bolt too. That was kind of fun.
If you want the ultimate full auto shooting experience, it's got to be a full belt through an MG42.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I want the ultimate experience, it's going to be a full belt through a minigun.
You still get the tactile from the MG42. A minigun feels like a video game.
Yeah, a minigun, you don't get the recoil.
Right.
I'd be okay with that.
You hear the electric engine going and the bullets going down range. It's really not as special as what you would think it would.
Honestly, call it American pride, but I would love to shoot Hitler's buzzsaw. Don't get me wrong, but a full belt through just an M60 would be cool too.
M60 is amazing.
I would love to shoot a pig sometime. All right. Well, let's keep going here. This isn't all about what I want to shoot. Pat, you're up next. What would be under your tree if Santa would bring you whatever you wanted him to?
Well, one of the guns that I would love to shoot is the saw for sure. Purely belt fed. I love that, man. Just iconic gun. Can't beat it. I actually got to fire one full auto in real life. The only machine gun I ever got to fire. And man, that was a lot of fun. If I had to go for something a little bit more realistic, I would probably have to go for... Yeah, there's nothing realistic this year. It's 2020. It's all dropped to hell. So. Yeah, what do you do? I mean, but we're not living in reality right now, so I'll just wish for the biggest thing that I can, but I can even think even higher than that. But what do you do? So now, if definitely a squad or a Modus on top of a old Sherman. I would love to get up on top of a Sherman cool. With a Modus on top of there. I just think that would be absolutely awesome. So that would be underneath my tree, including the Sherman.
Big damn tree.
Well, it's going to be in the basement by the time they roll it in through the front door and they blow it open.
That one tank under his trees bed. Before this, I was over watching Ghost Tactical's podcast, and there was somebody in the comments wants vending machines with tanks in it.
Well, they have the vending machine with a car in it.
Yeah.
So it's the logical next step. Well, and it wouldn't just be tanks. I mean, you could have Humvees in there. You could have Bradleys in there. You could put F-35s in there. Why would you not? So...
Yeah, maybe some Hellcats in there.
Yeah, see,
that'd be awesome.
So it'd be kind of cool. Just one-stop shopping. And honestly, there's no reason civilians shouldn't be able to own that. It's no different than any other tool as long as it's used responsibly, then how could we be? How would we not have access to that?
Right.
All right. Cool. Hi, Lily. How are you?
Say hi, sweetie.
All right. We will move right along. Paul, you are up next. What would Santa bring you?
Well, in the fantasy world, he'd bring me an A10.
Nice.
It's just something about just hell yeah.
There's nothing like a Gatling gun with wings, is there?
Exactly. I'd be happy if he just wrote a few articles for me. That seems to be the biggest challenge I have in my job, especially this time of year with nothing to write about. Everybody's behaving themselves, thinking that Santa only watches the last 2 weeks before Christmas.
Right.
But seriously, what I would love to get a hold of are some more PMags and some food for my AR. Yeah, the there you go. You got the PMags, but do you have the stuff to fill them?
I may or may not. I'm not answering that.
That is something I would love for Santa to leave under the later.
I've got a little bit of stuff to fill them with. I've got a couple of these. So
all right.
That I've been hoarding, and I've been unwilling to open them. The PMags, incidentally, if you saw the video that I posted up, I think it went live today, actually. Those came from Open Country Firearms as well. So if you're needing some PMags, get a hold of Garrett and see how many he's got left, because he tries to keep those in stock. So you can even get cool hats like this one. Good stuff up there. All right. So before we switch gears here, well, we're going to switch gears, but before we move over to which companies to buy gift cards, I think we'd be remiss, and I wasn't going to touch on it, but I think we'd be remiss if we didn't at least have a little discussion on what the ATF has been doing, just because this is so important. And it is, I guess I kind of personally have mixed feelings about this open comment period that they have right now on the pistol braces. But I'm going to defer this over to Paul or Lloyd, or you two can collaborate if you want to, but I know that you both are plugged in better than I am as far as being able to explain not only what the ATF is doing, but to better explain for the either the newbies out there or the ones that really haven't taken that close a look at it yet. Now, would you explain what the ATF is doing with these pistol braces, and what they're not doing, and then also why do we care about this as gun owners, even if we don't have AR pistols or the like?
Lloyd, I'm going to let you go first.
I was afraid you were going to say that, because I've been a little bit out of the loop on this and have not paid enough attention to really give you a good opinion on it. Aside from saying I hate the ATF.
Yeah.
So I was actually going to throw it back to you for this specific issue, because I don't have a good enough read on, because I've heard too many sort of back and forth on it to really have a good idea.
Well, I have unfortunately read it. It is full of legalese, and more importantly, their proposed rulemaking is full of cheat words. May, could, in some circumstances. What it boils down to, in my opinion, do not trust my legal opinion. I'm not a lawyer.
And neither are any of us. Right.
What it does boil down to is they are not going to, on a manufacturer by manufacturer basis, say what's legal and what's not. They're going to leave it to, we'll know if it's illegal when we see it. And that goes all the way back to the beginning, and it goes all the way down to the individual user.
Yeah.
So if I buy a pistol brace and John buys a pistol brace and Lloyd buys a pistol brace, John might be okay, Lloyd might be okay, same exact pistol brace. I put it on a gun and I could go to jail for it. It all depends on the investigator that is looking into it.
Yeah, that's the way I understand it too.
Yeah.
Out there on the YouTube side, James Allen says, I think it's nothing more than a fear tactic by ATF to see just how far they can stretch their power. I don't think that's too far off the mark, honestly. That's kind of what I've thought when I the little bit that I've read, and then I've done a lot of research as far as just listening to smarter people than me talk about this too. And from multiple different sources, I'm kind of, hearing this common theme. And what they've done is, in my mind, they've taken something that was completely objective, and it was listed out, this object even. This is an NFA item. This is not an NFA item.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've all seen that meme of, ARs in every configuration, legal pistol, illegal pistol with a brace on it or with a stock on it. It's legal if you make it an SBR, which is an NFA item. Put a stock in a rifle upper on that receiver and you're legal again. Everything's confusing, right? But up until now, if it was a pistol and you put a brace on it, it was still a pistol.
Mm-hmm.
Just that was it. If you put a vertical grip, forward grip on it, then it became not a pistol anymore, because obviously it was designed for two-handed use then. But yeah, what they've done is they've taken something that was cut and dried objectively, and they said they did this to make it simple. Well, all they've done is muddy the water.
Yes.
And they've
Absolutely.
made things that used to be objective now, like you said, subjective. And it's open to the interpretation and the whim of the person who is looking at it, number one. They're factoring in things like the weight of the firearm and the optic on it. Now, some of that, I'm going to be honest, some of this makes a little bit of sense to me in the notion that, if you've got a magnified optic with short eye relief, then it's really hard to argue that is a pistol. You designed, you put that on there so that you could shoot it one-handed, held out away from you. If it's a pistol scope with a long eye relief or a scout scope, something like that, that makes sense to me. But anything that has that shorter eye relief, I could maybe give them that one, because that's almost impossible to use without shouldering the firearm, right? So I get that. But then they came out here a while back and they said, if it's a pistol brace and you shoulder it, it's still a pistol. Then they said, well, it's not. It's an SBR. Then they said, well, hold on. She's not stuck. She's just stubborn. Yeah, you were cutting a cord, weren't you? Okay, sorry. Then they came back again and said, well, as long as it's not, you're not making videos and it's not marketed to be shouldered, then it's a brace. It's not a stock. So, I mean, we already had a few months ago that little bit of muddying of the waters, but now it's one of those things where they will look at my wife and they'll look at me. It could be the exact same firearm and it could have a pistol brace on it. And it could be set up to where it fits her forearm. And without that pistol brace strapped to her forearm, she can't lift it one-handed. Even with it strapped on there, she maybe doesn't have the arm strength to hold that up one-handed, which means in her hands, now it's an illegal item. She's a felon because that becomes a short-barreled rifle. Whereas in my hand, I've got the arm strength to hold that up one-handed. Well, that's totally legal. So how can the same firearm be legal in my hands and illegal in hers? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, it makes sense if you stop looking at it from the foundation that they're attacking you from a position of configurations. And remember that the original reason for the $200 tax stamp and the tracking of the firearms was to keep them out of the hands of poor people.
That's true.
And people they didn't want to have them.
Yeah.
And so if they don't want you to have them, they're just going to make it subjective.
It would have been at that time just as easy to have an outright prohibition, right? In 1934, We could have just prohibited short-barreled rifles, short-barreled shotguns, suppressors, everything that's an NFA item now. But they didn't want to do that because certain people with money still wanted toys. And so they came up with, and it's BS is exactly what it is. They came up with a line of BS that said that the gangsters and the criminals are using these things to commit crimes. Therefore, we're going to take them away from the people who follow the law. And that's been the basis of every BS law that we've had since then. And we're still getting it today. In fact, we're getting it worse than ever today. But I've never quite understood how just think about this. When you were a kid in school, there was 2 kids in the back row talking through class, not paying attention to the teacher. So what sense does it make to take recess away from the other 28 kids out of 30 that were in the room paying attention, when those 2 already weren't going to listen and weren't going to do anything that the teacher told them anyway? Why punish the ones that are following the rules? That's never made sense to me.
That's what gun control is as a whole. I mean, gun control is corporate punishment, unleashed on the whole country, because certain people use guns in ways that you shouldn't. Everybody has to pay for it. That's why we have background checks, because certain people use guns irresponsibly. All the people here on this show are not going to take a gun and go out and commit a crime, but we all have to jump through all the hoops to supposedly prevent people who are not going to go through a background check from going out and committing a crime with a gun, which they're not. Those laws are not going to stop those people. We all end up paying the price for it. It's the same stupid idea as, the coach that punishes half his team because 2 of his dumb players on the team won't follow the rules during practice.
That's no, let me interrupt you though. That's a little bit different, because I had coaches and PE teachers that would do that very thing. One person's jacking around, not paying attention, goofing off. We all ran laps. But the reason that coach did that was so that he didn't have to be the bad guy. We would police our own in that instance, because we were one team and we were only as strong as our weakest link, right? So it behooved us as a team to have that one person pay attention, and he would depend on the rest of the team to keep that one person in line. It wasn't just him doing it. So in a sense of a sports team running laps, I think that's not my favorite analogy, and that's why. Because yes, there is a sense within our community of policing our own, but at the same time, I can say, Lloyd, I think that you really should lock your guns up in a better safe, because and I don't know what your situation is at home, but let's say that it's Pat's house and Pat's got little fingers, and you and I could sit Pat down and say, Pat, you need to get a better safe, or you need to get a safe because you've got little fingers. And I'm not saying that Pat doesn't lock I'm sure that you're totally covered and everything's locked up. I'm not questioning that. But is it really Lloyd's job or my job or our business to tell you how to store your guns? It's not. We have the right to keep and bear them as we see fit. Now, it's totally irresponsible to have little fingers and unlocked guns in the house, right? And we all would agree with that. And we all would read somebody the riot act if we found out about it. But at the end of the day, we don't have any authority to change that. If they want to be stupid about it, they have the right to be stupid. We have the right to be stupid, and we have the right to be unsafe in this country. And when I say unsafe, I don't always mean irresponsible. When you've got little fingers and unlocked firearms, that unsafe is irresponsible. But if you want to smoke cigarettes, drink and drive, things like that, I mean, you've got the right to go be unsafe. Yeah, Paul, sorry. You've got the right to do whatever you want, chew tobacco, dip the skull.
Oops.
Whatever you want to do, you've got that right to be unsafe. And I shouldn't say drink and drive, because that's a
bad one.
That's a bad one.
Hang on.
Those of you that live in a state that doesn't have a helmet law for motorcycles, You know?
Yeah, I'm in Texas.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know a lot of people that drive around Nebraska when they're heading to Sturgis just because they don't want to put that helmet on. And I get it. I mean, I think you should have that right. I think you should have the right to not put your seatbelt on and drive down the road. I also think that the state shouldn't spend any money to scrape you up if you chose to be stupid.
I agree.
That's just me. I think you've got the right to smoke cigarettes. I think the state shouldn't have to spend any money, or the federal government shouldn't have to spend any money on your emphysema treatments. You know?
I've got great insurance for that.
And you've got insurance, and you are a grown man. You should be able to make your own decisions. Whether I agree with them or not doesn't have any bearing on whether or not you can make them. Because you should be a free, law-abiding, background check passing citizen.
Well, the first time in our history, we're actually reaching the level of we are just as free as we're willing to raise hell about.
Yeah.
And so we keep talking about these things from the perspective of we own these rights and we have these rights and these are God-given rights, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a level between you are granted those rights and are now a criminal, and you are granted those rights and you need to start battling for them. And we're reaching that fine balance where if we do not get very serious about battling for them, then if we wish to maintain those rights, we're going to have to make a conscious decision to become a criminal.
Yep,
absolutely.
I would agree with that.
All right, now there's a couple comments that are going to bring me back to the point I was originally about to make. Let's see here. Carolina EDC Review says, what I don't get, everyone is talking about it and crying, but nobody ain't doing anything about it, just like everyone else protesting about something. Then I think you meant 2A community need to do the same. Be at the ATF front steps and put pressure on them. Tired of everybody just talking about it. And then where did that go? Now, this is the point that I want to make, and it's more of a question, really, because I agree with Earth. It doesn't matter who writes what comment. They're doing what they want. However, I'm sure your comment is important for some new list, like Polymer 80 Raid was looking for consumer info. Now, the question I want to pose to the group, and then we'll go back to having the original Christmas chat, but I want to throw this out there. We're not going around the horn. We'll just roundtable this. What was it, a year and a half ago? They had the comment period for bump stocks. And I don't know the final tally on how many comments they got, but I know that a ton of people wrote in and made comments on that. Didn't do a stinking bit of good.
Nope.
You just as well have taken that comment and put it on toilet paper and flush it down the toilet. So, open comment period for pistol braces. Is it enough just to go drop a comment, or is there a better solution or something we need to be doing with it?
We need to be learning something from the people that we claim are such inferior creatures, yet have managed to change entire foundations of law within our nation and force us to pay for their belief systems by bullying large corporate entities into donating our money into their cause. And ladies and gentlemen, I mean the left's ability to organize protest and to consistently deliver it to the pains at the ends of our governmental representatives. Because even in places where they've not burned cities to the ground, laws have been bent, broken, and changed at their whim.
No, absolutely. Anybody else want to throw a comment in there?
Well, with the M855, though, once I got picked up by some of the big media and word was getting out that there was going to be an ammunition ban, that's when there was tons and tons of comments. I think that also had the open comment period, too, at the ATF. And once some of the bigger media got a hold of it and made some national news, then I think that maybe made the difference, which is why we never got the M855 ban with the ammunition.
Well, and it has been successful other times in the past.
Yeah.
I was watching, I didn't see it all, but I was got the first part of Such's video that he posted today about the comments too. And I don't remember this, but partly because I'm not a reloader, but apparently here at some point, the federal government said that they were not going to be selling the reclaimed or the spent brass. and a lot of the companies that load once fired brass got upset, and a lot of hand loaders got upset, and that was a successful commenting campaign. They did convince the government that hey, we own that brass, and you won't stop selling that to the public. So I believe, and you'd have to go find Such's video from today and get the particulars on that, because I don't remember him. I was driving across town as I was listening to it. But I mean, there have been times in the past where enough people actually made the comments, and we did get something done. So
was selling that brass also a source of revenue for the government? If it was, that's probably why they why they went ahead and
I don't know what they were proposing, if they were going to just sell it for scrap instead, or I don't know what was going to be the case. Maybe they, and I don't know. I don't know what the logic was either. I don't understand why they wouldn't want to sell that, because why would you not want the revenue off of it if you can get it? I mean, take things that the taxpayers bought you and then sell it back to them. I mean, that sounds like a Biden thing, actually.
If they were just going to throw it away, they probably would have gone ahead and thrown it away.
But maybe they were just going to weigh it up. I don't know.
We used to have to release that stuff up when I was in service. Every time we went shooting, we cleaned it all up anyway. So it's not like it was laying on a range somewhere. They control that. I do want to make a comment on this, and then I'll make room for other people. And this is something that I hear a lot of people saying, in the past we did this. Well, I want to make two very acute observations here. 5 years ago, had you been openly professing a gun control measure that you would have potentially had the political power to do, you never would have gotten a vote in most parts of this nation.
Yeah.
15 years ago, had you been an open communist or socialist, you would have been risking jail time. And 20 years ago, had you done any of the things you are doing right now, you would have been removed from governmental office. And some of the comment periods we're talking about fall under those time frames.
Yes.
So remember, times do change, and so do methodologies behind attacking things. And if we remain static in our beliefs as to what will be effective, then we will fail intrinsically.
Now, I do want to just mention real quick, G23 out there says they already have 50,000 comments on the ATF website. I'm assuming most of those comments are on our side. Most of those are probably comments saying that these new regulations are making things worse. They're trying to solve a problem that's not even there. And the solution is creating a problem instead of solving one. But, just to be fair, we know how this works. Tomorrow morning, there will probably be an extra 60,000 comments come in for the other side. So they'll find them overnight. So I'm just saying.
I really want to jump in on this if I could.
Do.
I'm gonna torque some people off.
That's okay.
If you're not wanting to comment because you think they're going to come knocking on your door, do you think you're not on a list they have right now anyway? That is, pardon my gruff language, bullpucky.
Yep.
You are, if you own an AR, I will just about guarantee you're on a list. I am looking at the right now. I am looking at the regulations.gov webpage, and they only update that every 24 hours at midnight, so it does not have today's comments on there. From Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern time, when they popped this thing up, until last night at 11:59 p.m., they had registered 21,444 comments. So 50,000 by tonight, I wouldn't be surprised at all. I would strongly encourage you, if you believe even this much in your country, make a comment. And if you don't believe that's going to work, I'm going to propose, and this is self-serving, I'm going to propose one more solution for you. make a $5 donation to the Second Amendment Foundation. I guarantee you my boss is going to be doing something about this. My boss being Alan Gottlieb, the founder of Second Amendment Foundation. There are things in the works. There are things that are obviously cannot be public until they happen.
Right.
But there's two ways this can be won. We could get out of the 5 million gun owners, we could get 4,500,000 of them to comment, or we can sue them to oblivion. And don't count out either.
And the combination of the two would be the best 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
If we could get 4,995,000 comments and then also get that litigation. And you know what? If 5 million gun owners, would give $5. I mean, what could SAF or FTC
give me a raise
or GOA or heck yeah. Paul would be driving a Cadillac down to Florida here in March.
Get them brand name cigarettes, buddy.
Oh, hey,
Marlboro, baby.
Whoever gets the lawsuit in first gets $1,500 from my family right off the bat.
There you go.
No questions
awesome.
asked.
Well, see,
talk to me on January 2nd. No, actually, the period for comments, I believe, is the 4th. So if you're going to do it, please get on it quickly.
Yeah.
I just threw the link out there to the comment.
Yes, thank you.
On, in the YouTube chat. And if you're going to do it, you're going to have to use your real name, whether you like it or not.
Yep.
And do not swear every other word. They will not post your comment.
No. Be polite.
You'll
think about it.
It will still be on public record forever.
Yes.
But yes, this is one of those instances where it's okay to be passionate. It's great. It's encouraged to be passionate, but you will catch more flies in this instance with honey than you will with vinegar. So keep your language classy. Keep your language becoming is what I should say. Also, don't make any kind of threats, whether they're empty or not. Don't say things like, cold dead hands. Don't say things like come and take it. Don't say things like, we're going to start any kind of violence or things like that if you don't listen. That's not the time or the place. I understand that they work for you, and it's okay in a classy way to explain that the government works for the people and the government should fear the people, not the other way around. That's okay if you can tie it in to a point about pistol braces. Don't just comment to blow smoke either. Make a comment that actually pertains to the task at hand. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of great templates out there. But here's the other thing. Don't just copy and paste a form letter, because they are taking note of how many people say the exact same thing. And, if you can't be original and at least throw in your own ideas along with that form, I mean, you want to use it as a template, but then flesh it out with your own thoughts, your own ideas, your own anecdotes, to make it personal. Because somebody's got to read every one of these. Well, if they start reading it and realize that it's the same wording in the first paragraph as the last 1,600 that they read, they will stop reading yours. And so make sure that you just personalize it. And then the other thing that I was going to say is, I don't know if it's going to make any difference or not. It didn't make any difference with bump stocks, but we won't know if we don't try. And what was it that Nighthawk, I think I heard you say when I was listening to Night Strike earlier, I think you quoted the great one, Wayne Gretzky. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Absolutely. But at the same time, don't run the same play every time, right?
Exactly.
So let's comment. Let's attack with lawsuits. Let's get some protests started. Let's stop running the same play and expecting the enemy to not anticipate blitz every time we show it.
Now, I am Carolina EDC reviews out there. I know what you said. I read what you said. I put it up on the screen. But we still need to talk about it. The more conversations we can have, the more awareness we can bring, the better this is going to be for everybody. So it is important to have these discussions, and that's why I'm taking time tonight to do it, because it is important to talk about it. Now, to quote another friend of ours, Tony Simon, the largest pound for pound gun bunny in America. Also, you may know him from The Second Is for Everyone, 2A4E. Tony has a great saying when he says, don't talk about it, be about it. So I'm going to amend that to say, don't just talk about it, be about it. Let's talk about it for sure, but let's be about it. So it's great to talk in here in this echo chamber when I've got, what do I have? 7 other people that agree with what I think, but it's not that easy to have that conversation at the water cooler. Now, some of you know whether or not you can even have that conversation at your water cooler at work. Maybe you can't. I get it if you need to protect your job. I understand that, but coffee shop.
It's the age of COVID. We can't gather around the water cooler anymore.
Well, we can. We just have to take turns getting the water, and then we have to stay 6 feet apart.
Right.
But the coffee shop conversations, the even standing in line at the grocery store checkout line, there may be a guns and ammo on the magazine rack there in the grocery store magazine rack. Just comment something maybe that gets that conversation started. And if and learn to pick your battles. Don't have an argument in the middle of Hy-Vee, but at the same time, if the person standing next to you or 6 feet away from you is willing to have that conversation, have it. You don't know who else is listening. Maybe you'll spark somebody else to have an idea, and maybe they'll go and be inspired to drop that comment on the website. Maybe they'll be inspired to send $5 off to SAF or GOA, FPC, even NRA. Maybe if enough of us talk about this and enough of us cajole and beg and insist, NRA might even be willing to do something about this. Well, ILA might be willing to do something about this. You never know. We'll see.
Well, and
we won't know if we don't try.
Yeah, we won't. That's exactly right. And one of the big things is the level of awareness around this is critically low. My 2021 resolution was to take a new person shooting both on Saturday and Sunday. Right now, I just do it on Saturdays. Well, I figured I'd go ahead and get an early start this year. Took a guy shooting who'd never been shooting before, but he had $1,700 worth of firearms to include a rattler with a pistol brace on it.
Wow.
And so I get him. I help him get his optic zeroed on the pistol, walk him through the process. And then I said, hey, man, have you seen this? And so we talked through the ATF thing. The next day, I had talked him through how to get ammunition in our town, right? Showing up early when the place first opens and being in line to get the ammunition. So I show up. He's beat me better by 15 minutes, and he's got a crowd of 6 guys around him explaining the ATF pistol brand to him. And
Nice.
these guys up, a buck in 15 minutes away from being a brand new shooter. So, you have impact. Whether you get to see it like that every time or not, you have impact.
Absolutely. That's cool.
Awesome.
Okay. Before we put this topic to bed, anybody have any other comments that you want to put in on it?
Well, I'll put one little more comment on kind of what you were going back to. I'll double back around to this. What all these, the little minorities and everything getting so loud that's the only thing you can hear. I'm afraid there's going to be a point in time, and I know we're all pretty much conservative, kind of low key. We try to be nice. We try to play by the rules and everything.
Mm-hmm. Try not to rock the boat.
Exactly. Thank you for filling in the blank. There might be a time where we're going to have to get louder than the other side. Now, when that is, I'm not exactly sure. I can't tell time. I can't look into the future or anything, but there might be a time where we're all going to have to get up and we're going to have to be just a little bit louder than the other guy to get our point across, especially when...
Can I correct?
No, go ahead, Nighthawk.
I want to addendum something you said there. Remember, being loud against criminal action is not the same thing as being intrusive, difficult, or evil. And so a lot of times we get in our heads that being loud is a problem, that we're a problem if we rock the boat.
Yep.
Well, if the boat is overflowing with people committing felonies and overflowing with people doing evil things, we are intrinsically bad by going along with it. But I'm sorry, go ahead, please.
No, that's actually kind of what I was getting to, Nighthawk. It's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. You know what I mean?
And I think
And
part of that,
John, yeah,
part
go
of
ahead,
that-
John.
part of that is because all year long we've been seeing the other side. And when I say the other side, I don't just mean anti-gunners, but I mean the Antifa crowd. The fill in the blank crowd of, it's my turn to be oppressed and be a victim. We've seen all this. We've seen the mostly peaceful protests as buildings are burning in the background behind the TV reporter. Well, these are mostly peaceful, even though, I'm ducking Molotov cocktails as I say it.
It's a summer of love.
It's been a summer of love. Kumbaya. So I think a lot of the time, and maybe I'm projecting this, I'll speak for myself. A lot of the time when I think of rocking the boat and making the waves and speaking up, that's what I associate it with. And I don't want to be associated with such antics and such illegal activity. So Nighthawk, you make a great point, and Pat both, that, there is a time and a place, and we have the right as American citizens to speak out and rock that boat and cause those waves if we do so within the confines of the law and within the First Amendment, right? So it can be a good thing. And clearly it works. At the very least, it gets things noticed. So again, if we could all just agree to be a united front and work together and speak in one voice, that would be amazing. I think if I could ask Santa for any one thing, besides a boatload of ammo and a nice range to go to on my own property, I would ask for that. I would ask for gun owners to be willing and able to speak in one voice, and all however many 100 million of us in this country, we are the largest single force in this nation if we all can get together and become a team. So that's what I would ask Santa for, since we're asking for things that are probably never going to happen. So, okay, speaking of Santa, let's go back to this. And for those of you that were waiting for this part, I'm sorry that we got off on that sidetrack. But again, I think it was worth taking the time to discuss. So we're going to go back around the horn, and I kind of want to get as long a list as we can. So it's last minute. You need to get a gift for somebody. You don't know what to get them. If you order a specific item, clearly it's not coming in time to put it under the tree for Christmas this year, but you could get them a gift card. And most companies now have the digital version of that. So you can print it out, print the certificate right off your computer, or even just take a screenshot on your phone and then send that to them, or, have them unwrap it digitally in their phone, whatever you want to do. You can still get a gift for somebody this late before Christmas. That's what I'm getting at here. So what we're going to do is go through and just list good companies, and it could be big box stores, it could be local gun shops that have a website and you can get gift certificates, and they offer shipping. It could be a holster company or a belt company or an ammo company that's actually got things in stock, maybe, or a place that of that is a great unknown treasure. But we'll just go around the horn, and I just want to know, your ideas, each one of you, of great places to get a gift certificate, especially for somebody that you're not exactly sure what to get them, and they might be better served by picking out their own gift from a business. So let's go back. We started at the bottom last time. So Paul, we'll go to you and work our way back down the tree here. What are some companies that that you would? I guess we can all just speak for ourselves, but what are some great companies for gift cards? Maybe somebody that you wouldn't mind getting a gift card to yourself.
2 ideas that come off the top of my head.
Okay.
People, if your person you're gifting to is a gun owner, there are 2 that come off the top of my head. First one is Ammo Man, AMMOMAN.com. They have amazingly good customer service. They're fairly quick, and they've got ammo usually in stock at fairly competitive prices. They're sometimes a little bit more expensive, sometimes a little less, but they usually have stuff in stock, and they're really, really great people. And they employ one of my friends. So there you go. The other one, I don't know anybody that works there. I don't have any connection to them at all. They're not a sponsor in any of my endeavors, but I know they have gift cards and they sell absolutely anything firearms related, and that's Brownells.
Amen.
If you know somebody that has a gun, they can go to Brownells, and whether it's an accessory, it's a spare part, ammo, another gun, whatever, they can get it from Brownells.
Very, very good idea. All right. Awesome. All right, Pat, let's go to you. What companies would you recommend dealing with?
Well, Paul kind of took the one that I was going to talk about, but that's okay. And I will recommend Brownells to anybody as far as that goes. Especially having some family that are new pistol owners out there and in the chat. So cleaning kits, especially for the first-time gun owners, cleaning kits, Claus.
Quality cleaning kits. There's
What's
some
that,
junk
Paul?
out there.
Yes, exactly. I'd go with anything with like hoppies or anything above that. You know, I haven't ever had any problems with any of that product or anything, or like Ram Oil or anything like that. Cleaning kits, ammo, or just about any like Cabela's or any outdoor store that you can just go browse around, see what's going on. You know, don't necessarily have to buy anything, or just, you know, the gift card from them just to see what everything's going on there. And
that's the best part about a gift card is you can
exactly,
that special person in your life can pick out their own present and get exactly what they want or what they need. That's the cool part about this little exercise. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else on your list?
Yeah, I would probably have to go to just about any little pawn shop or little gun store place. Like we've got a couple around down here, like Lucky Dog Gunner down here in Hardy, Nebraska, and we've got a couple other in Eastern and Western. I can't remember the names right off the top of my head, but go visit your local gun store.
I used to live in Hardy. Who's got Lucky Dog Gunner?
I would have to look it up, but I've got it on my refrigerator magnet just across the way. I'll have to get back with you on that one, John. But
that's cool. Just send me a text or something. Let me know. I'd like to know if somebody.
Yeah,
I lived there for a couple of years. I don't know that many people, but there's not that many people in Hardy. So
no, actually, he's got a really cool setup over there. He's got a lot of pistols, shotguns. I mean, everything. Ammo for just about dang near everything. So
cool.
Yeah, go visit your local gun shops and just see what they got going on there. So yeah, that'd be my 2.
Awesome. And you've got a shout out. Let me put this up on the screen. Apparently your sister is pretty proud of you and had a blast shooting with you. So she was learning. Was she learning shooting, or were you teaching her other bad habits?
No, those bad habits she already picked up by herself. So
okay.
I didn't have anything to do with that. And half of those she already put onto me. So it's so I'll blame half the bad habits on her.
Who's older?
But no, actually she came up from Texas, and she had brought a couple handguns, and we taught her how to shoot handguns this week. So
cool. Well, congratulations, Jeannie, on being one of the newest people in the Cool Kids Club that knows how to shoot handguns now.
So yeah, she have an absolute blast, and we're going to do it one more time before she leaves. And yeah, she might be out of ammo by the time she leaves here.
Awesome. All right. Patriot out there says, my suggestion, give him a link to that guy, Patriot in the Dark. He's got some really informative videos on pistols. I don't know. That's not much of a gift. That seems like a gag gift to me. No, I'm just kidding. Go check out Patriot in the Dark. He really does have some cool stuff. Not only are the videos awesome, but there's something very unique about Patriot in the Dark. And if you've never checked out his videos, just go watch them. I challenge you to figure out what is different about this guy than with most of the people that you're going to see posting videos on YouTube. I'm not going to tell you what's different. See if you can figure it out for yourself. I bet it takes you a while to tell what's different.
Does he film his videos in the dark?
What's that?
Does he film his videos in the dark?
Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes he does. I think I would say yes, but no, they're very well lit. All right. It's usually in frame and in focus and everything. They're even better than what I can do. So
awesome.
All right, let's move Paul. We went to Paul. Let's go to Lloyd. Let's hear your suggestions for last minute gift card ideas.
Okay. One I would definitely not recommend is Dick's Sporting Goods. Don't ever buy anything from Dick's Sporting Goods.
I'm okay with that.
You were just talking about new shooters. We've got so many new shooters this year, new gun owners this year. One recommendation, I think, Paul, I think you mentioned holsters earlier. Cook's Holsters, they used to, I don't get any money out of this.
That's okay.
They used to sponsor Armed Lutheran Radio. They're a great company. I trust them. I use them for my holsters. New shooters, they're going to need quality holsters. Find a good holster company like Cook's Holsters. Get them a gift card. Get them some training. Get them a gift certificate, or buy them, sign them up for a training class. Like Paul, I think, is hosting a Mag 40. Is it Mag 20 or 40?
Mag 40. And
Mag 40.
Teaching it himself.
Oh, awesome. Like Seeklanders classes or Masayub. If you can get Masayub's class, absolutely take it. Sign somebody up for one of those classes, especially a new shooter. Fantastic if you can get them a good professional training, so that they're not just carrying around a gun untrained, or just going out there with just their CHL training. Something like that for the new shooter. That would be what I would recommend.
Awesome. Very, very cool. All right, Rich, let's move over to you. What would you suggest?
I was going to say Sportsman's Guide. They have e-gift cards right now where you give them the person's email address and they will email them a code. They put it in, it credits whatever amount you bought for their gift card to their account, and they can use it on wherever they want. This is really good if they're in the military as well, because they can go to the military, the Army or Air Force exchange, because no matter what branch you're in, you can use their exchange, go over to their marketplace, and that's one of their specialty shops, so they can go and shop through Sportsman's Guide without having to pay sales tax or shipping fees.
Nice. Excellent idea. And I didn't realize that about Sportsman's Guide. I've dealt with them for a long time. Back when the only way you could order was through the catalog, and they still had the greeting in every catalog from Gary Olin. That's how long I've been dealing with Sportsman's Guide. Or I shouldn't say dealing with them. Wishing I could order. I was a kid. But great company. All right. Anything else on your list?
Well, let's see.
It's okay to list a whole long list if you want.
If they have gift cards or not, but I know VersaCarry makes really nice holsters. If you haven't checked them out before, they're if you have like a small handgun or whatnot, their Comfort Deluxe is a really nice holster. It's leather, but it's got a polymer insert between two sheets of leather, so the holster will not collapse on you. I have one for my P365. They're a great holster, so check them out, and they may have a gift card. I don't know. If not,
is that the one that also it's leather on the outside, but it's got the little mechanism that locks onto the front of the trigger guard so that you've got good retention?
It just uses standard It uses standard like Kydex and polymer retention. It has a screw where you can tighten it and loosen it.
Okay. I think it's VersaCarry that also has, I think they call it lock leather, but it's actually got a little piece that snaps and clips over the front of your trigger guard. So it's not like it's a level 2 or level 3 retention holster, but at the very least, it's not going to pop out potentially if you're, whatever reason, doing cartwheels in the yard, just like a typical just plain leather with no thumb brake. So
yeah, they're always come out with new stuff.
When VersaCarry first came out, they were a little piece of plastic that clipped on your waistband and had a little plug that stuck in your muzzle of your gun, and that's all it was. Didn't cover the trigger guard, didn't do anything else, and I would not have given you 2 nickels for one of those. But they have turned around into a company that has got some really cool stuff. Yeah, no, that's a great company now with high quality products. They've really grown in the last couple of years.
Yeah, they're getting into gun belts now. They have a couple of different variety of gun belts.
Nice.
And they're going to be coming out with one that has a polymer core here in the near future. They don't have it on the market yet, but they will be. Right now, they have a triple ply leather belt and a double ply leather belt.
Nice.
And like I said, they're going to be having one here in the near future. They're supposed to be coming out with one that has a polymer insert. So that's another option because, we've mentioned holsters, but you're going to need a gun belt too. You don't want to carry around your handgun strapped to your Walmart cheap $10 belt, Yep,
exactly. Yeah, Core Essentials are getting mentioned out there in the chat too for belts. Poor Conservative corrected me. It's Urban Carry that had the lock leather. Another company who started with what I think is just a gimmick and has actually turned into a company that brings good, decent products to the table now too. So, all right, cool. Let's go over to Nighthawk. What companies would you recommend dealing with for gift cards and whatnot?
Well, there's 2 things I always give to family members or close friends whenever they start shooting, and it's 2 different gift cards. One's for 511 Tactical, because invariably that double nylon gun belt is a good starter belt for someone, and they carry a variety of cover shirts. And we all know when you first start carrying, your carry weapon feels like it's 500 pounds in the size of an aircraft carrier sitting on your hip.
Yeah.
So giving them a good solid cover shirt, because that's how I carry, right? And they usually can appreciate what I've done as the person who's helping teach them. And then the other thing is a gift certificate with a suggestion list to a local sports store. Things like Maglua loaders are a real big plus for an early shooter and something that they can carry with them their entire lives.
That's not just a plus for an early shooter. That's a plus for anybody. Anybody who values their thumbs, or if you don't have thumbs, values whatever appendage you use to load magazines.
That would be painful.
Yeah. And then a good set of Walker headsets for those people too. And so I'll put together a $75 or $100 gift card to an academy or a Sportsman's or whatever the local place is that carries those items with a suggested list of things for them to buy, and then a nice gift card for 511 Tactical
Nice.
for $50 or $100 in that range.
Cool. All right. Yeah, very, very good ideas. All right, let's move over to.
I forgot something else about Sportsman's Guide. If you going back to where if they're in the military, they will also get a free 30-day membership to Sportsman's Guide if they're not already a member.
Gotcha. And that is what do they call it? Their buyers club. What are they? I forget the name of the exact. It's like what, $30 or $40 a year to have that membership.
$50 a year.
Okay. Orders over $49, I think, free shipping, 10% or more off most items. If you order a lot of, and the cool thing about Sportsman's Guide, it's not just gun stuff. It's not just hunting stuff. There's survival stuff. There's outdoor stuff. There's home decor. There's clothes. There's novelty gifts. I mean, it's really, there's something for just about everybody in that place. Really cool stuff. A lot of milsurp stuff.
Whatever you imagine they have.
Just about. Yep. Exactly. All right. So yeah, good stuff. Okay. Defense Dad, let's pop over to you.
Well, I'll echo some of it. Like find out if they have a good sporting goods store or what they have near them, whether that's a Shields or a Cabela's or Academy. I'll agree, not Dick's.
Mhm.
Someplace they can handle the stuff. Their money's going to go further. A lot of those places will match online pricing as well, so they're going to get more for their gift card. And maybe not the most popular, because I only want to support local businesses, but Amazon, if they don't have access to places like that, because you can pretty much get whatever you want to there.
Yep, exactly. Yep, good stuff. All right. Last but not least, Travi Claus.
Hey, man. Yeah, you might have to do a little bit of research for this person. Find out if they have a favorite local gun store. See if they happen to have any kind of a gift card that they offer, a gift certificate you can buy. That's a good one. Also, if they go to a range, maybe buy them some range time, or if it's a couple, maybe buy them like a couple's night. Like sometimes you can buy, for classes or training. A lot of ranges that I've been to, they do have some sort of gift card available that you can give to somebody. So buy somebody a couple hours of range time. That'd be a good one for them. Otherwise, yeah, just local mom and pop places, or Defense Dad and I are big fans of Shields. They're a really good company, and we like their philosophy. And yeah, you got a couple different options out there, I suppose.
I figured one or the other of you two was going to mention that. If you didn't, yeah, I was going to say Shields.
I was going to let Defense Dad say it because I didn't want to steal his thunder. So if you guys have never been there before, it's a pretty cool place. It does have a Bass Pro kind of feel to it, but
that's why
we don't have them in Texas. We're deprived.
No, you have one. They've got one at
we're getting one. Yeah.
Yeah, the Rockwell one I think opened up in August for you guys down in Dallas.
Shields is, what was the first one? Bismarck or Fargo?
Wisconsin maybe, or North Dakota?
No, North Dakota. Yeah. Bismarck or Fargo, I believe, is where they're based. So they are they're spreading south and they're spreading east and west a ways too. But yeah, the Dakotas, Nebraska, I don't know what other states have Shields. I know there's one.
There's one in Nevada. That one in Sparks, Nevada.
Here a while back
earlier, but yeah.
When G Webbs was making one of his gun show loophole tours, I remember him talking about going to Shields, and he was in Fargo, which, if you've been in that area, across the state line in Minnesota is Moorhead. They're basically twin cities. Yes. And he was talking about going, and he'd never been to a Shields before that trip. And so he went to two different Shields in two different states. They were about 5 miles apart. He thought it was pretty cool that there were two of them that close, and they're stocked differently. So it's worth the trip to drive 5 miles across the state line to go to the other Shields. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, very, very good company. Founded by a very devout Christian person. Sometimes that matters to folks. Sometimes it doesn't. If it doesn't, I mean, whatever. But, they're still a type of company that says Merry Christmas as opposed to Happy Holidays in their ads, things like that. In fact, their buildings have skylights, and most of those are shaped in a cross even, which is they've done cool Christmas advertisements, TV ads, where they zoom out from their sales floor. They do a pullback, and it kind of like pulls back through their roof, through their skylight, and then you can see the cross lit up in the skylights at night, and that's really cool. So go search the Shields Christmas ads. You can see what I'm talking about. All right, so yeah, a few companies I would mention because these are places that I deal with. Shields, any of the big box stores. The cool thing is, if you get somebody a Cabela's or Bass Pro or an Academy or whatever gift card, then it really doesn't matter if there is one local, because those places ship. And so unless you're buying a firearm, then you can have everything just sent right to your door anyway. And if it's a firearm, we all know how that works. Just have it shipped to your local dealer, pay a transfer fee, and away you go. I like to deal with Alien Gear. And I'm not getting any kind of kickbacks for any of this stuff either. I do like to deal with Open Country Firearms, and yes, they're a sponsor. They're tonight's featured sponsor for the podcast. I just placed an order for another Bigfoot gun belt, which is part of Alien Gear. Double leather, 14-ounce bridle leather with a steel core running through it. I had to get a new one because the ones that I've got, I have lost some weight, and my pants won't stay on. I can't buckle them down tight enough. And most leather belts you can punch extra holes in, but these you can only go so far before you hit that steel core, and you've got to drill a hole And I just decided that I've had the same belt for several years. I'm going to retire that one and use the thank goodness, use the smaller one. So great place to deal with. Some of my other favorites, I like Dick's Sporting Goods. I like cheaperthandirt.com. No, wait, hold on. Let me think. Those are on my list of places I'll never deal with ever.
You're on the naughty list.
For those of
Not
you
the
that
nice
can't,
list.
for those of you that
You were about ready to have a riot
You're
on
on
your
the naughty
hands.
list, guys. Yeah.
for those of you that aren't watching
Harumph.
on the video
Harumph.
side, everybody whose camera is on just gave me the stink
Harumph.
eye. It was kind of, and I know most of you at home were too. No, with everything that's gone on recently, those well, do your own research. We're not going to get into it, but Dick's played the pander politics game. Cheaper Than Dirt is known for price gouging. Whenever supply of anything gets a little bit low and demand gets a little bit high, then they'll gouge the crap out of prices. It happened back after what was it?
Sandy
After
Hook.
Sandy Hook, when all of a sudden people were starting to say, let's go after the, what we all consider standard capacity magazines, things like that. I've talked to people who actually had items ordered, not just in the cart, but had the order placed, had an order number, but it hadn't shipped yet. And they got an email that said, hey, we're canceling your order. You can sure come back and reorder those PMags. What you ordered for $12, you can now buy them for like $40 or $50 or something if you want to. And canceled the order because it hadn't shipped yet. That's the kind of company that Cheaper Than Dirt is. So no, just so you know, it's a free country. You're able to make your own grown-up choices if you want to support them. You go ahead and do what you want, but know who you're supporting. That's all I'm saying. As far as holsters go, there's a lot of companies that are making great stuff. Some that haven't been mentioned are Bravo Concealment, stuff made in Texas, crossbreeds made in Arkansas. These are all American-made things. Alien Gear is American-made. I think Urban Carry and Versa Carry are both American-made products as well. Just check that stuff out. There's also here in Nebraska, just west of Lincoln, a few, 40, 50 miles. TDM Tactical is a holster maker, and he is growing his business. So he's one of the other Travises. I think we're up to other Travis by now.
6 of us at this point. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And Travi Claus is actually the king of the Travi. So he's the original Travis, but we've got other Travises now too. So reach out to Travis at TDM Tactical. You can catch him on MeWe. You can catch him on Facebook. I don't think he's got a website up yet. But he was actually on here a couple weeks ago with us. So go back and watch those back episodes and find him, because I know I put his stuff up on the chat there too. So anything that is made in America. You can also reach out to, I haven't seen him tonight, but Ozzy Osbourne makes some really good quality leather holsters. He sent me one. I wasn't even expecting it. Sent one for me for my Glock 19. You can find the video for that on the channel here too. But reach out to Ozzy Osbourne. You can find him on, I know, Facebook, I know YouTube. And if you're looking for him and you can't find him, send me an email and I will point you in the right direction there. Just because right now I don't remember off the top of my head, I don't have available the links to his Facebook page or to his YouTube channel, but we'll get those. So if you can't find him, send me an email, sandhillsshooter@gmail.com, and I will get you connected with Mike, because he's making some really, really good stuff too. So
2 more holster companies, if you want good veteran made polymer or Kydex holsters, are Sia Supply Company and We the People holsters. They make simple Kydex holsters. They're really good. I have one from each of them. They're nice holsters. Yeah.
Also good quality Kydex stuff. I think they're also based in Arkansas. Klinger holsters. One of my favorite holsters is it's a Bravo Concealment holster, but I've got the Klinger cushion. Klinger cushion, they call it. It's just a little cushy pad that you put the Velcro dots on your holster, and then you stick the little pad onto the back of the holster, and it takes a hard Kydex holster and gives it that little little cushion around the edges. So the places that it typically would dig into you, it really makes that a lot more comfortable. What used to be Nate Squared, now it's Nate Tactical, just a letter N and an 8. Nate Tactical also makes some really good stuff with a good comfortable pad on the back of it too. All right, I think we have covered just about everything that we're going to cover tonight. So we're going to start wrapping things up and let everybody have any closing comments. And then, of course, we want to know where we can find you. There's another one out there, FS Tactical, 402 Outdoorsman, is affiliated with, and I know they make good stuff because he wouldn't say their name if they didn't. All right. So real quick, I again want to thank our sponsor for tonight's podcast, Open Country Firearms in Osmond, Nebraska. You can get suppressors, you can get all kinds of firearms, pistols, rifles, shotguns, new, used, ammo, accessories, PMags, all kinds of cool stuff. Talk to Garrett up there, Open Country Firearms, and we'll put that up on the screen. OpenCountryFirearms.com is the website, so you can go check that out. Like I said, he's only been going for a little over a year, but super great guy, nicest guy you're ever going to meet, and he will just about bend over backwards to find what you're looking for and be able to get you what you need. So
there are ladies that make good money doing YouTube videos bending over backwards.
Really? That is, I'm sure, in some way completely related to what we're talking about. Thanks, Paul. I'm glad you busted in with that. All right. So let's just, we'll start with Paul again. Any closing remarks that you want to make? And then where can people find you and all the fun things that you do?
Closing remarks, not really. I would just encourage everybody to pay attention over the next 2 months. What's going on? Get involved as much as you can, as much as you're comfortable with, but definitely pay attention. I think some seriously shady things are on the horizon, as well as some seriously wonderful things that are going to be coming through the court system. Pay attention to that. My name is Paul Lathrop. I'm the Deputy Director of New Media for the Second Amendment Foundation. I do this little podcast called the Polite Society Podcast. I've got this network called the Self-Defense Radio Network, and I'm an employee of this really great organization called the Second Amendment Foundation. If you want to find me, just pretty much you can do a Google search, and I turn up a lot of places. But specifically, everything I do ends up at selfdefenseradio.net.
There we go. Awesome. And thank you very much for joining us. Paul, I'll be in touch with you towards the end of the week here, because we are going to be where you are here in a few days. So we should get together and break bread or do something.
Absolutely.
All right. Pat, any closing thoughts from you? And then I know I badger you about this all the time. Where can people find you? Do you have any videos coming up?
Well, between the COVID and kids and everything else, it's been a little hard to do things here lately, but I do have stuff down. It is recorded. I just have to go through and edit it now. So hopefully some stuff will be going through here very shortly. I am on YouTube at Pat Hirsch. Just type in Pat space Hirsch, and I'm right there. Do a lot of different things, a lot of guns, a lot of vintage ATVs and stuff like that. Just wanted to say thanks for having me on tonight, and had some extra kin on tonight. Jeannie Hirsch. Got her trained up on some pistols and stuff this week, and I really hope she gets, and I know she's going to, because this has been her main goal at the end of the day, is getting her concealed carry. So no pressure, Jeannie, but now you're going to get it.
Awesome.
So, but Anyway, no,
if you're looking for Pat
what's that?
Hirsch, it's Pat space HERSH, right?
Thank you. Yes,
C's in there.
because it's been spelled about a million different ways. So,
exactly.
and I'm no way related to Hirsch Digging in
Gotcha.
Camel, Nebraska. So, but anyway, thanks for having me on tonight, and yeah, we will see y'all later.
Yeah, and real quick, if you're watching one of Pat's videos and he says Cal Prolapse, stop the video right there. You don't want to go any farther.
Don't go into that one unless you want to get grossed out. So that's on a completely different other podcast. So
yeah, if you know what that is, then you're like, what's the big deal? If you don't know what that is and you're sensitive or squeamish, don't ask.
Yeah, don't go there if you don't like certain anatomy.
It's a fact of life on the ranch. It happened. Yeah. Okay.
Thanks again, John.
You bet. Thanks for being here, Pat. Merry Christmas to you. Lloyd, any final thoughts? Oh, what?
I was just going to say, he started talking about that on my show the one time, and he totally grossed Ghost out.
Well, that's because I believe he went into detail of what that actually is.
Oh, he was talking about surgery on it. So, yeah.
Oh, he ran. He ran clear out of he was gone.
Twice.
Well, okay, now, but Ghost is a Marine. It's not because he was squeamish. It's because somebody cracked open a box of crayons and he smelled the fresh wax and went running. We all know what happened there. I haven't seen Ghost out there in the chat. He probably didn't hear that, but hopefully somebody tells him to listen to the end of this one. So.
It'll get back to him. Trust me.
I hope
Bob's crayons like chicken nuggets.
We love you, Ghost. All right, Lloyd. Any final thoughts from you? And then where can people find you?
All right. First off, for everybody watching, just to echo what Paul said, buckle up for the next few months and probably for the next few years. Who knows what's coming down the pike with the Biden administration with Kamala Harris. John, thank you so much for having me on the program. I really enjoyed it. And to all of you guys, thanks for everything that you guys do every day. I am the host of the Armed Lutheran podcast. We just finished up our 5th season. We kind of mix religion and guns and hunting and competitive shooting and all kinds of good stuff. You can find us at armedlutheran.us. I started a podcast about IDPA called Unload and Show Clear, which just finished up our 2nd season. And you can find that at unloadpodcast.com. And I would be remiss if I didn't shamelessly plug my own book, which I just edited, called Duty to Defend, which is available on Amazon and Kindle, which you can give as a gift just in time for Christmas.
Cool. Can you post a link to that over in the private chat, and then I will put that out to the public?
I would be more than happy to.
Awesome. Okay. And while you do that, let's move over to Rich. Any closing thoughts for you, sir? And where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find my primary channel over Unloaded Media here on YouTube. And also on Instagram, it'll be Unloaded Media _Rich White, even though I really haven't posted anything on there in a while. If you want to go look at some of the stuff I did have on there, we got some really cool pictures from the Civil War Museum from when we were in Harrisburg last February that are posted up there. So you can go check those pictures out over there on Instagram. And Thursday night over on the Unloaded Media channel, we will be doing our 3rd annual Christmas special. It's going to be just a fun show. We're not going to get into anything serious, except maybe Two Live Moo's drinking. He's already said he's getting his supply ready. He assured us on Sunday of that. So this should be interesting to see what comes of this, because every year so far it's been crazier than the one before it. So be sure to check that out if you just want to have a good time Christmas Eve as you're getting the kids stuff under the tree and what have you. And I also want to real quick plug my Patreon channel. I'm looking for people to go over there and support me. I'm saying this because I put a public post that I put how I commented on the ATF's brace ruling or their comment period on it. So if you want to read what I had to say on that, go over there to my Patreon page. It's a public post. My Patreon page for the creator side is just Rich White. So go over there and check that out if you want an idea of kind of comments that they're looking for and whatnot.
Very cool. All right. Real quick before we move on, Lloyd, is there an audio version of that book G23 wants to know?
I have actually thought about doing that. Maybe I'll work on that. I've actually started outlining some plans for doing that, but not yet.
Not yet, but it's not off the table.
Not off the table at all.
Okay, good enough. Cool. All right. Let's move over to Nighthawk and get your closing thoughts, and then where can people find you?
Closing thoughts. I'm with everybody. Let's get in and punch. We hired a president who would throw punches because we were tired of taking it on the chin constantly. For whatever reason, he's lost that job. So now it's our job. And really, we failed ourselves by allowing it to only be his job. So it's time to learn from that mistake. Get up and punch. Don't count on something that worked 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, because the political world has changed and doubled and tripled in evil in that time. Be active. If there's something you can get to, go get to it. If there's somewhere you can give. This is a super critical time. And if you watch me, I'll always put my money where my mouth is. So I challenge everybody out there to do the same if you can.
Don't do that. It's probably got COVID on it.
Yeah. don't lick the cash.
Don't lick the cash.
And of course, for me, we've got some pretty exciting non-firearm content coming up, as well as some firearm content.
Cool.
Some stuff and some collaborations. I'm excited. You can find me on Nighthawk Medic Shoots on the YouTube side of the house, as well as full30.com, Facebook, and Instagram. Thanks, John. You're an amazing human. I appreciate you having me here.
Well, likewise, back to you. Uh-oh. Now you're somebody feels slighted. I'm not even the amazing human in this room, let me tell you, or on this panel. So
and also Sandhills Sweetheart is phenomenal. They say that behind every great man is a greater woman rolling her eyes.
And that is definitely true in my house. Absolutely. I've also heard behind every great man, behind every successful man is a bewildered mother-in-law. And behind every successful rancher is a wife with a job in town. So
and behind every blade of grass, there's an American with a rifle.
There's an American with a rifle. That's right. Exactly. So don't bring it to our turf. All right. Travis, we'll go to you next. Closing thoughts. Where can people find you? This
great episode tonight. And just real quick, guys, what Paul was saying earlier, really, I mean, that's it, man. You got to keep your eyes and ears open. Don't get complacent. Be rational and just really keep yourself educated on everything that's going on. But I do appreciate the invite, and you can check me out over on my YouTube channel, Travis P11, and it's all over Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, same name everywhere. But make sure you guys subscribe to people on the panel tonight because they got great content. And that's it, man. Hope to be back here next week. And
cool.
Appreciate the invite, man. Thank you.
You bet. Thanks for being here. All right. Last but certainly not least, we've got Defense Dad.
Hey, thanks for having me. It was a good show tonight. Subscribe to everybody on the panel. Do your research. Do what you can to support the cause. It's not going to go away. And as far as me, you can find me on YouTube, and I put a new video out today showing you how to make my favorite holiday cold weather adult beverage that lets you get along with your family. But yeah,
best?
What's that?
Milwaukee's best.
No, man.
No, I'm messing with it.
Mother-in-law's watching.
But yeah, just thanks. I had one more thing when I forgot to say earlier about gifts for people. If you have a new gun owner and they have a good outdoor range like Sandhills has or what Travis and I have here, that's a great thing to do. It's cheaper and they can go year round, sun up to sundown, and it's less intimidating for a new owner to go shoot at places like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And let me just throw again, I don't get any kickbacks for this, but if you are within driving distance of Neely, Nebraska, and if you don't know where that is, then clearly you're not probably within driving distance. But Antelope County Shooters Club is $25 to join for that first year. After that, it actually gets even a better price. But there's an awning with 5 wooden benches sitting on a slab of concrete. And you can get, if I'm not mistaken, there's a backstop at 25, 50, and 100 yards. And then if you shoot the far north bench at the far south backstop, then I think it's 100 meters. I think is how that's angled. There is talk maybe in the future of opening up a different lane and going out to 200 yards, which would be even better. There's a few other bays in there, so you can do some pistol work or whatever without affecting the people on the rifle firing line. But just look up Antelope County Shooters Club on Facebook is probably one of the fastest ways to find them. If you don't have Facebook, send me an email and I will get you some phone numbers of people to contact for membership. But yeah, go check them out because they're a great asset right here in Northeast Nebraska. So it's the range I go to, and they're 40 miles away, and it's still the closest place that I can get to, that I can afford to get to. And I've hardly ever had to stand in line to get a spot. So pretty cool stuff. All right.
Before we leave, I forgot to mention what time Thursday. The show will be at 8 p.m. Eastern. So check that on your calendars.
Which is 7 p.m. Central Time, which is the only time zone that matters. So, right. Gotcha. All right. And real quick, again, I just want to thank the Self-Defense Radio Network for allowing us to be part of the organization. You can catch just about everything that Paul does, minus the Second Amendment Foundation stuff, which if you're not subscribed to the SAF YouTube page or the Facebook page, and I don't know where else this stuff is because those are the only two that I have, but check out the Daily Bullet, check out the Weekly Bullet. There's some cool people and some good info that gets put out on those. So go check those out. You can catch the stuff that Lloyd does also on Self-Defense Radio Network. And then again, the stuff that we're doing is now up there. So go to sdrn.us and check all that stuff out. It's like I said, I just all of a sudden feel like we're one step closer to making it. So
can I plug one more thing?
Please do.
I am going to be joined tomorrow evening by Lloyd and a few of our friends when we do the Armed Society podcast. And that will be live on YouTube. Look for the YouTube, just go to the Polite Society podcast YouTube channel. And on Facebook, go to the Self-Defense Radio Network page. But we're going to be live tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central, the only time zone that matters. And that's a 1-hour show.
And I don't know who came up with the name for the Armed Society podcast, but it so complements the Polite Society podcast because an armed society is a polite society. So whoever came up with that, if you figure out who named that, Paul, you owe that dude like some royalties or something. I don't know who did it, but if I could get that guy,
he just slides the coins from one pocket to the other.
Yeah. Just some sort of monetary kickback for whoever that is. I don't know who that is, but
yeah, I could maybe buy that person an adult beverage.
Oh, okay, I got
it. he would abdicate the adult beverage and go with the soft drink, but my life is fueled by Mountain Dew and poor decisions. So, speaking of bewildered mother-in-laws, I do want to send a shout out. My favorite mother-in-law is out there watching on the Facebook side. So I'm sure that she was vehemently nodding her head when I made that comment. Good to have you along, Deb. I'm glad you're out there. Okay. So, I think I've said everything that I need to say tonight. So on behalf of Defense Dad and King of the Travi Claus, Travis P11, Lloyd Bailey, Rich White, Nighthawk Medic, Pat and Lily, Paul, Sandhills Sweetheart, and myself. We were very blessed to have all of you out here in the YouTube side. Who do we have joining us tonight? Kingpin, Pat Hirsch, Paul Lathrop, Rich White, Defense Dad, Earth, Ryan Pettit, Mike White. Probably no relation to Rich White. Drill Sergeant 623, 7 Wonders, 9mm Mike, Sergeant Joe Smith, 2 Live Moo, G23, MKJO, Fluffy 10mm Jeep Guy, Jeannie Hirsch, the 402 Outdoorsman, Artak and Daughters, Guitar Man Pete, Crumpy's out there. I didn't see you, John Crump, Wheeled and Well Armed, Patriot in the Dark. I did see you. Idaho Rogers USMC, The Poor Conservative, James Allen, Carolina EDC Reviews, Iron Horseman, Josieola, Nighthawk Medic, Agorizer, Vanessa Kitty, Blitz, and M. Gabriel. Over on the Facebook side, we had Donnie, Nick, and Deb. So thank you for joining us, all of you. Edward has found a spot over sitting on Mom's lap. You notice he's not behind me. And the puppy she's being good.
Out cold.
She's out cold. So on behalf of Edward and Liberty as well, thank you all for joining us. Please hit that like button or hit the dislike button. I don't care. Let YouTube know that you were here either way. Both of them, let them know that you were here. Please go check out the merchandise. Thanks, Pat, for modeling that. He's a much better model than I am. So you should see him on the catwalk. I tell you what, he is too sexy for my hat.
Don't start with that shit.
All right. So, please hit that like button. Please mash the share button. Get this out to everybody. This was a fun one. This was great. But especially the part about the pistol braces and the things that ATF is doing. Yeah, we need to talk about it. We do need to be about it as well. But let's get the conversation out there and let's make conversations like this mainstream. And when you get somebody that says, I don't care, I don't have a pistol or a pistol brace, well, explain to them how these things chip away one thing at a time. Nobody cared about the bump stock either. It's not about the bump stock. It's not about the 80% lower. It's not about the brace. If you think it's about the item itself, then you're completely missing the boat. Okay. But again, we need to be able to explain why this is important. And that's why we have these conversations, because maybe it'll help somebody better explain the next time that they're in another conversation similar. So very glad that we had that part of the talk. I think that's all I need to say before we go. Catch us next week. We are planning on having the I can't talk. I'm just the host. Don't worry about me. Regularly scheduled podcast next Tuesday night, same time, 9:00 Central Time. Of course, the only time zone that matters. So thank you all for being here. We love you. It doesn't do any good to do this if you don't watch or you don't listen. So thanks for that. And if you don't catch us live, you're catching this on the replay, please leave comments. Facebook, YouTube, out there on the audio only versions as well. Please comment. Let us know that you were here. Agree, disagree. I almost have more fun with the people that disagree. I like to see different opinions. I like to know what people think. I like to have my beliefs challenged. It's healthy for me. And anybody that doesn't like their beliefs to be challenged probably should open their mind up a little bit. It's healthy. It's either going to cement what you believe even stronger, or you're going to find out that your thinking was flawed and you need to readjust it. Those are both healthy things. So don't be afraid to have somebody challenge your beliefs, because it's only going to be good for you no matter what happens. I think that's it. Merry Christmas, everybody. We will see you next week. God bless you. We love you.